What's up, football people? I am Saki. This is About Edu, and here we are going to learn about the history of Black Stars. When Ghana gained independence in 1957, the country didn't just step onto the world stage politically. It stepped onto the football pitch with a sense of identity, purpose, and ambition. From the moment, a new national symbol was born, and that was the Black Stars. The name was not chosen by accident. It was a deliberate tribute to Marcus Garvey's Pan-African vision to the shared struggle and pride of black people worldwide, and to the single black star that sits proudly at the center of Ghana's new flag, a beacon of unity, strength, and hope. Football quickly became the nation's way of expressing all of that, but the creation of a national team was much about more than sports. For President Kwame Nkrumah, the football was a political tool, a way to unite a young nation of different ethnic groups to build confidence in a newly independent society and to show the rest of the world that Africa was ready to rise. So in 1957, as Ghana's independence celebrations echoed through Accra, the foundations of a new football identity were being laid.
Independence now!
Players from local clubs were brought together, and under one banner, the first administrators and coaches began shaping a team that could represent not just a country, but a movement. These early Black Stars weren't just footballers, they were symbols of Pan-African pride, ambassadors of a new Ghana, and the beginning of a story that will change Africa and football forever. This is where the journey starts, the birth of Black Stars. After the formation of the national team in 1957, Ghana moved quickly to establish a competitive structure. In 1958, the government appointed George Ainsley, an English coach, to organize training methods and introduce professional standards to the squad. His tenure focused on fitness, positional discipline, and modernizing a team that had been assembled primarily in domestic clubs. Ghana played its first official international matches between 1958 and 1960, facing teams such as Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Togo as part of regional friendlies and bilateral competitions. These early fixtures helped identify core players and define the technical direction of the team. By the early 1960s, Ghana began transitioning from British coaching influence to local leadership. Former national player Charles Kwame Gyamfi, CK Gyamfi, took over as head coach in 1961. Gyamfi introduced a more flexible, attack-minded style built around pace, direct transitions, and individual skill, a noticeable shift from the rigid structure of the 1950s. Between 1961 and 1963, Gyamfi shaped the core of the squad that would soon dominate African football, establishing tactical identity that led Ghana to its first African Cup of Nations title in 1963. CK Gyamfi led the Black Stars to 3 African Cup of Nations titles in 1963, 1965, and 1982, making Gyamfi the joint most successful coach in the competition's history. On 19 August 1962, Ghana achieved one of the most symbolic results in its early football history. At the Accra Sports Stadium, the Black Stars hosted Real Madrid, the dominant European club of the era and reigning Spanish champions. The match ended in a 3-3 draw, a remarkable outcome considering Madrid's status at that time. Real Madrid arrived in Ghana as a global powerhouse between 1956 and 1960. They had won 5 consecutive European Cups. Even in the friendly tours, they rarely dropped points. For Ghana, only 5 years into independence and building a national football identity, hosting Madrid was part of Kwame Nkrumah's broader sports diplomacy programs. Another one reason was Nkrumah and Ohenejan, the Ghanaian sports administrator and politician. He was the first director of sports of Ghana. Wanted Ghanaian players to experience their elite football up close and to learn directly the strongest club side in Europe. It was an investment in football education. Our interest in arranging this fixture is not to win, Jan explained, but to give our players a unique opportunity for rubbing shoulders with the best in the soccer world and to improve thereby. Ghana's performance shocked the visiting press. The Black Stars matched Real Madrid physically and technically, scoring 3 times through fast direct play attacking. The hallmark of CK Gyamfi's emerging philosophy, local newspapers describe as a result as a proof that Ghana belongs among the world's football nations. The match strengthened the country's football reputation and boosted confidence ahead of the 1963 African Cup of Nations, which Ghana hosted for the first time only 6 years after the independence, and the tournament became the country's first major international triumph. Under head coach CK Gyamfi, the Black Stars entered the competition with a clear competitive objective to prove that Ghana's rapid rise in African football was no coincidence. The squad included the key early generation players Baba Yara, the nation's outstanding forward of the era, Agri Finn, the midfield organizer, Edward Akwa, the clinical striker, and Osei Kofi, the rising attacking talent who would soon become a national icon. Ghana were placed in a 3-team group with Ethiopia and Tunisia. They opened the tournament decisively, defeating Tunisia 2-0 and followed with a 4-2 victory over Ethiopia. The Black Stars advanced to the final with the strongest attacking record in the tournament. In 1963, they played at the Accra Sports Stadium, saw Ghana face Sudan. Gyamfi's team controlled the match from the start using the fast direct attacking style he had introduced after taking over in 1961. Goals from Edward Akwa and Agri Finn secured Ghana a 3-0 win, earning Ghana its first continental championship. Their victory had immediate impact. It validated Nkrumah's investment in football and strengthened Ghana's status as a leading force in African sport. It also established CK Gyamfi as a pioneering African coach. He became the first African manager to win the tournament. AFCON 1963 marked the beginning of Ghana's golden era.